Hello, this is Joe from Nerd in Korea. We are doing the budget Mardu Rakdos card draw now. I'm getting to the two color combinations. This is nearing the end of the series. I can't believe I'm almost done. I think I have two more after this. What do I mean by budget? $2 or less than TCG market value? Not a sponsor, not at all. Rakdos card draw. So Rakdos is a very aggressive color, if not the most aggressive color. Maybe Gruul, Rakdos or Gruul, I think have to be the most aggressive. Most Rakdos cards are focused on combat and gaining advantage through combat. These card draw options are also heavily focused on combat and creature removal. So there's a lot of things like death triggers and things like that that play into the Rakdos card draw. Honorable mentions. Okay, Warhost Frenzy. So for 2 and a red, it does have a kicker black. Creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. If this spell is kicked, whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. There are many ways, even with I know we're talking Rakdos, but Mardu, you can get a lot of the combat when you're just adding these extra benefits and is at instant speed, right? You can wait and see, oh, my stuff is about to die. I'm going to I gotta stop using the D word. YouTube doesn't like it, but anyway. And next up, Toil and Trouble. Okay, so Toil is 2 and a black. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Kind of standard effect for black. And Trouble, target deals damage to target player equal to the number of cards in that player's hand. This is a weird card draw one, but if you do have a lot of card draw, maybe throw this in just to get the damage in, or have the option of more card draw for life loss. So there's something there. Anyway, these are both 7 cents and under. Now 9 cents and under. Fatal Grudge. So for Rakdos, black and red. As an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice a non-land permanent. That's actually very good. There's a lot of reasons why you might want to get something, have a way to get something to your graveyard. This lets you get anything that's not a land to your graveyard. So this can actually be very much an upside. This might be why you include the card in the deck even. Because getting creatures to the graveyard is pretty easy. Getting artifacts or things that can sack themselves, easy. Getting enchantments, artifacts, things like that to the graveyard, unless they're made to go there, not so easy. Anyway, each opponent chooses a permanent type they control that share a type with the sacrifice permanent and sacrifice it. Draw a card. So it draws you a card, forces everyone to sacrifice something. So again, if you have that oh, I want to be able to get this artifact to my graveyard, this will do that, and it makes everyone else sacrifice an artifact, and you draw a card. In the right deck, this is just a crazy combo. I mean, not infinite combo or anything. I mean combo, just combination anyway. Rick's Mighty Reveler, 1 in a red, and Spectacle is 2 black red. So you may cast a spell for its spectacle cost rather than its mana cost if an opponent has lost life this turn. So it's weird that the spectacle cost is actually higher, but okay. When Riz Mighty Reveler enters the battlefield, discard a card, then draw a card. If Rick's Mighty Reveler spectacle cost was paid, instead discard your hand, then draw 3 cards. So right there, that's why, right? The spectacle cost actually has more of an effect. Usually spectacle is only the reduction in cost. But yeah, this gives you an extra effect. You might not want to use that. You might not want to discard your whole hand. If you don't have, again, if you've got more of a spell slinger, maybe you've burned through all your cards, and this is the last card in your hand, and you cast it for the spectacle cost, and you're like, okay, I don't have any cards in hand, so I'll discard my hand. So discard 0 to draw 3. That would be ideal. Grevin, Predator Captain. Alright, so he is 3. Rakdos, again, I gotta stop saying Rakdos because they're all Rakdos. Anyway, Black Red. He is a 5/5 with Menace, which is not a bad start. Menace does a lot more work than I think people realize looking at the card. Grevin, Predator Captain, gets +X+0, where X is the amount of life you've lost this turn. So your life loss automatically turns into like extra attack for him. That so many decks can use that. And yeah, especially with Mardu, because you've got white where you can have a bunch of lifelink to raise yourself up, and you can use black and red to drain yourself down and get all kinds of extra effects. And if you do that and you have him, then you're just like giving him potentially a pretty huge boost to his damage boost. So yeah. And whenever Grevin attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. Again, you may. If you do, draw cards equal to that creature's power, and you lose life equal to that creature's toughness. So, life loss is something you can try to mitigate. I wouldn't bother. Again, I would just go with like a lifelink thing. But yeah, it is something where if you can get a bunch of token creatures or something like that, if you've got like a token deck, which can be very good in Mardu, again, because it does have white-black, you can do the kind of aristocrat thing, and red does help with that a lot. So yeah. If you make token creatures, give them anthem bonuses, and then you have your card draw sorted for the game. So basically, you're going to have like, you're going to make like a 2/2 zombie, and it's going to get all of these anthem bonuses. That'll make it like a 4/4 or something. And then you attack with him and sacrifice that, and then you draw 4 cards, lose 4 life. No problem, right? And you don't need to do that a whole lot to like just have all the card draw you need for the game done, right? Repeatable card draw, even if it's not a really high card draw, is just going to have you sorted. I think people put too much emphasis on like, oh, this is going to draw me like 6 cards or something like that. And if it's a one-time effect, that's not actually so great. Him, if you give him maybe even like another form of evasion, he's going to be able to like not die in combat. If he attacks even twice and you can sacrifice things, you can probably draw a whole lot more cards off of that than some kind of like single use effect that will let you draw a card. Anyway, 28 cents. Garna, Blood Fist of Keld. Alright, this is like a better card than I realized. I think I've got this card, it's sitting in my binder, but I always kind of looked at it and went like, whatever. I feel like I never really stopped and went, oh, is this actually really good? Anyway, so for 1 black, red, whenever another creature you control dies, draw a card if it was attacking. Otherwise, Garna, Blood Fist of Keld deals 1 damage to each opponent. That's nuts. That is. Again, this is looking at that same kind of like aristocrat strategy. If you did that, this is like a prime thing for a Mardu aristocrat strategy. Because, yeah, if they're attacking, you draw cards. If they're not attacking, if they just use a board wipe and like kill all your creatures, then you're just doing a pile of damage instead. So it gives, I really do like cards where it's like that kind of like disincentive for a board wipe. Like, you can board wipe, sure, you're gonna die. You lose the game if you board wipe. So maybe don't. Yeah. Anyway, 6 cents. Azra Oddsmaker. Alright, so 1 and black-red. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may discard a card. If you do, choose a creature. Whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player, you draw 2 cards. So you're going to discard 1 card. And ideally, you've got like a creature that can't be blocked, like Changeling Outcast or something, where they can't be blocked. And then, yeah, you're going to get that damage in. Even if it's not a lot of damage, you're drawing 2 cards. So anyway, that is 40 cents. Spiteful Visions. All right, 2 and red, black, or sorry, red or black. So yeah, 4 altogether. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. So this does help everyone. Maybe not what you want to do in Mardu, but it is kind of a nice option to have. Having something where it's like maybe not making everyone else at the table angry. It's not just pure aggression all the time. Mardu is very aggressive, but maybe like if you can mitigate that a bit, that's it can be a good thing. Whenever a player draws a card, Spiteful Visions deals 1 damage to that player. So just going to go ahead and do the exact opposite anyway. This is actually more of like a Grixis card, I think. Where I actually should get this for a Grixis deck I've been working on forever. Where you just card draw them into Oblivion. And yeah, this can be a very great effect. And it automatically counters a lot of decks. Like someone that's relying on a lot of blue card draw is going to end up just draining themselves out pretty quickly. So yeah, it can be very effective. Anyway, 135. Also, any effect that like punishes players just for like playing the game, something I like. I guess maybe that's a bad way to phrase it, but like it works because your opponents are doing what they're doing, right? Your opponents are playing the game, and that makes them lose the game. It's very effective. The Scorpion God. This was actually quite a bit more expensive recently, I believe. So I gotta pick this up while it's down in price. I would say the same to you. Anyway, 3 black-red for a 6/5. Okay, first of all, 5 mana for a 6/5 is not bad. Whenever a creature with a -1/-1 counter on it dies, draw a card. So this guy's all about getting -1 counters on other creatures. And yeah, so for 1 black-red, no tap, so you can just keep doing this as long as you have mana. Put a -1/-1 counter on another target creature. When the Scorpion God dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. So you got card draw and creature removal, also just automatic recursion. Like, oh my gosh. That can be useful in so many ways. If you got something where it's like you have to sacrifice, you can sacrifice him and he's just gonna like pop back into your hand right away, right? Still not ideal because you're gonna have to recast him for 5 mana, but it's an option at least. It makes you not very scared of board wipes as well. The list. Okay. Greven Predator Captain is 28 cents. Garna Blood Fist of Keld is 6 whole cents. Should be more. I think it's because it's gotten printed so much as 6 cents. Azra Odds Maker is 40 cents. I have this in my, what is it called? Tazri deck, I believe. Spiteful Visions, $1.35. And finally, the Scorpion God, $1.97. That is a crazy card. It is dropped. Again, I'm quite certain this was like $10 at one point, but I could be wrong. I don't think it's going to stay this low. If you're going to get it soon. Anywho, take it easy.